Yeah, my wonderful people. Okute don't arrive again. Oh, this one I'm just coming from the National Assembly. We're there for Abuja. No be small thing they happen there. Oh. Organized Nigerian Labour Congress. Oh. They don't pull down the strong gate. They say pull down every stronghold of the enemy and take possession of what rightfully belongs to you. And I hope they are not planning another coup through the Labour Congress. They don't pull down the gate of National Assembly. Over 5,000 people stormed that venue. Anyway, that is not the issue for now. That one is a story for tomorrow. But notwithstanding, let us carry our wakao, enter for Mazin Nnamdi Kanu's case. Where we say the fight don't start between Ejimako, Mazin Nnamdi Kanu's family, and the so-called IPOB. We talk say Aloysius Ejimako, they have declared him non-grata. Which language did they use? Hey, Owaguragu. Say they don't sack him. Say no be their lawyer again. And Mazin Nnamdi Kanu family don't come out to come debunk that rumor. Say they know, say they never sack a lawyer Ejimako. In fact, they say Aloysius Ejimako still remains the family lawyer and also lawyer to Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. So the fight now is between the IPOB and the Mazin Nnamdi Kanu's family. My question in all these shenanigans is, where are these things leading us to? Can this thing ever produce results for the pursuant of the case of Mazin Nnamdi Kanu at the appeal or the Supreme Court? It cannot take us anywhere. Please, and please, I beg whoever that is in charge of all these shenanigans, because somebody must be in charge of it, to do what? Mellow down. Make on be coming down. So that we fight with one voice, because united we stand and divided we fall. If they eventually sack Aloysius Ejimako, who have already known the in and out of this case, I tell you the truth here, it will be the worst malamio against the Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, the IPOB, and also the Biafrans in general. So please, let us trade with caution. That is my own take, and that is my own advice to the general public, and also to Biafrans who are doing all this. Also to whether they call them DOS or BOOS, or be Imam Powerful, waiting that they call them. Make gonna do what? Make gonna trade with caution. All these faceless, what would I call them? Faceless IPOB members, or be IPOB executives, that they keep on telling us things online we cannot even know what they look like. I beg you, make gonna do what? Make gonna take them easy. Anyway, before we proceed, do not forget to subscribe to this channel, like, share, and comment. But remember, Oga Patapata of them all, make sure you share. All the very, very important and very, very necessary. Let us go straight to the reason why we are here. You know the culture already. We take the headlines for you to know what to expect on this very broadcast. At least it will enable you to start the news and watch it to the end. All the very, very important, because don't watch my news halfway. A lot of wisdom is attached to it. That is why I always encourage all my viewers, subscribers, listeners, haters, likers, commentators, anyway where you dey, as long as you just click bam to my news, watch it direct to the end. There is a lot of wisdom that to grab there. Even if you no grab wisdom, share it to another person. That person must surely grab his or her own wisdom. Now so the thing take you. Ejimako remains Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer. Family disagrees with IPOB. Sit-at-home enforcers have killed over 250 people in the southeastern region of the country. This message or this notice is coming from the Ohaneze Ndibelibe or Ohaneze Ndefulefu. This name self, I don't know how many gonna take come about this name. Ibelibe, Efulefu, Ohaneze Ndori. I beg you. Another one we have here is make on they try. This one goes to all the women. Say make on they try. They do what? They give Bobby to on a young ones. I mean, on a baby. No, be this one where we say a person go deliver baby finish. You go tell and say make it give him Bobby. You go tell you say no. I don't want my Bobby to go down. You don't see I'm not. They tell you say giving your baby Bobby at tender age when they see this small say it reduce risk of breast cancer and maternal obesity. This one is coming from expert to the women's in the house. Oga, tell your wife, oh, make it they give your baby Bobby. No be say they go born baby finish. You go carry none. Carry this one. Carry even a mineral full everywhere. Say, my woman, this in Bobby no go follow. So if you follow now, tomorrow you don't go look attractive. Remember, the eye where the cry can also see. To be one is to be arm. Hey, now I don't speak Oyibo today. Chineke, where did I cram this one self? One cutter. Okay, make we proceed with the other headline that we have here. This one is strike. But Abiamila Delalake shouldn't have negotiated with the Nigerian Labour Congress, according to this our Kaduna Central Senator or former Senator Shehu Sane identifies Tinubu's mistakes in all this. He has been making mistakes even right from the very first day. He gave his acceptance speech that he won election. He said, I know majority do not vote for me. So, and they made us to understand in the English interpreting that majority carries the vote. So if na minority vote for you, then how do you win the election? That is where he started making the mistake. That is where he carried gun by himself, with himself, all for himself, and shoot himself on the leg. Say majority no vote for him, you wish it is your candidate is here. Majority no vote for you, and you claim you win the election. Anyway, that one is a story for another day. Yakubu Abikilogbe will come and explain that to us when the time is right. Let us proceed. Thai security as Labour holds peaceful protests in Aba. I hope all this zombie, they don't go come out now begin to shoot. Look at what is happening in Lagos, Abuja, and other places. There's no any shooting. Even they pulled the gate of National Assembly. Nobody died. No any shooting. Not even a single tear gas. But let's see what happens in the southeast. They must surely come against our people. When they shoot them finish now, they will tell you they are IPOB members that come to protest. Just watch and see. You know, say my word always come like a prophet, but it must surely come to pass. Che, Wankata. Okay, another one we have here. There's a situation arises from Arise Television. Situation arises from Arise Television. Arise. Where Rufai Hosseini and the Rotus, they clash on national TV when they are on air over this strike matter and protest matter where NLC don't carry body, don't they work out for the whole street, saying the hero, we no go agree for the waiting to happen for we Obodo Naija. Anyway, my wonderful people, make gonna hear this one. According to Nigerian Labour Congress chairman, will be Aliero Abiajero. How did they take on? He said breaking. Make gonna hear this our so-called president of the government. He don't tell us say 1 trillion naira from first subsidy. I beg, where the money dey? You say 1 trillion naira from first subsidy, and the fuel, our fuel is still there high. You cannot use it to even give all the marketers. Make on cut the price of fuel down so that the poor masses in the society can at least enjoy the dividend of democracy. He said he. Now they don't come out to let us know. Say 1 kobo, you never even say. Even if you save 1 trillion naira, it don't go inside your pocket. As simple as that. Anyway, my wonderful people, now here we will take a stop this headline. Let us go straight to the reason why we are here this very day. Remember, today happens to be the second day in the month of August and in the year of 2023. We are moving forward. Backward, never, forward, ever. Barely 48 hours after the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB sacked Aloysius Ejimako, which is a barrister, as the special counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The family of the detainee or detained Biafran agitator has countered the move. Nigerians recall that the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, in a statement on Tuesday by its publicity secretary, will be saying be a more powerful, sacked Nnamdi Kanu special counsel, Aloysius Ejimako. But if I may ask you, this is more powerful. Are you the one paying a salary for Aloysius Ejimako? I don't even know how they, anyway, it is none of my business because I don't know how they run the affairs of IPOB, which I don't know, I cannot comment on it. According to Powerful, Ejimako, this one is Ejimako now, yeah. Ejimako has ceased to be special counsel of the pro-Biafran activists. But Kanu's family, in a statement on Wednesday signed by Prince Kingsley Takano, said Ejimako retains his position. The statement added that the release by Powerful is false and defamatory. All these shenanigans. Now, so we want to get the Biafra. Let us speak with one voice and Ajo. Igbo Enweze. when I control the exhibit this attitude anywhere, anytime. It's all right. Prince Kanu added that Ejimako remains the IPOB's lead lawyer until Kanu himself says otherwise. He added that both Powerful and the IPOB DOS are not in the position to make personal decisions for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in detention. Okay, make on read the press release where this where in the column Aloysius Ejimako abi kilompe where give for this matter. I wanna go do what? I wanna go calm down because the news is plenty, but I will take my time to read it to the public. The press release by Kanu's family titled "The RE Barrister Aloysius Ejimako remains the special counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB" reads, "Late yesterday, the attention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and family was drawn to the publications in a few newspapers stating that the IPOB has sacked Barrister Aloysius Ejimako as a lawyer representing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB. The publications were based on a press statement ostensibly released late yesterday, the first day of August in the year of 2023, by Comrade Emma Powerful, the media and publicity secretary of IPOB. By this press release, we, the family of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, said categorically that the press statement by the said Emma Powerful is false and defamatory in its entity. And accordingly, Barrister Aloysius Ejimako has not been sacked as a special counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB in general. He thus remains such special counsel in good standing until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu says otherwise. For the avoidance of any doubt, Barrister Aloysius Ejimako personally and physically met with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu just days ago on the 24th July of 2023 and the 27th July of 2023 respectively. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu met with my younger sibling. The main event of both visitations was the standing direct order of Nnamdi Kanu on termination of sit at home, which he had issued through Barrister Aloysius Ejimako on July 24th. Let's go on record to make it clear that Barrister Ejimako was not hired or retained by this Emma Powerful or the Department of State of IPOB DOS, which Powerful stated he was speaking for. Instead, it was Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in his official capacity as the supreme leader of IPOB that hired Barrister Ejimako in the late 2017. So unless Emma Powerful and DOS believe that Nnamdi Kanu has become vegetative as they once rumored, how can they suddenly begin to make decisions for him, whereby he's still alive, breathing, and in somehow in good condition? To be sure, what is propelling the DOS is the same animus and jealous that had propelled them to mess up the first direct order issued by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in 2021, terminating the sit at home. The DOS was driving mad with jealousy and envy that the order was delivered to and announced by humble self Prince Kingsley Kanu Takano instead of by the DOS. And for this reason alone, the DOS sabotaged that initial effort by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to terminate sit at home because of their own selfish interests. For the avoidance of doubt, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu referred to his this sabotage in the latest order he issued to Barrister Aloysius Ejimako, noted how it had caused a rift between the DOS and himself to this day. It is a shame on the DOS that they are again levying the same fratricidal war on Barrister Ejimako for the same silly reason they had introduced them back in 2021, according to Kanu Takano. But this time around, they have become more vicious in their rage against Barrister Aloysius Ejimako simply because Barrister Ejimako delivered his message too effectively that it has finally ended the sit at home as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu had long desired, but which the pathetic DOS could not accomplish despite Mazi Nnamdi Kanu giving them several opportunities to do so. In other words, let it be clear that Barrister Ejimako's remarks on the said Arise TV interview on the 28th July was taken out of context and deliberately twisted to provide a silly justification to launch him in the interview. Barrister Ejimakor, when he was talking about followers of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa, responded along these lines that when the followers, whether they are of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or Ekpa, act for good or bad act for good, bad or ugly, and do so in the name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, it is then attributed to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu just because he is the supreme leader of IPOB, and in such is unfair on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Hence, his reason for issuing the sit-at-home termination order to separate the apples from the oranges. So the DOS that is twisting these intelligent remarks out of context should ask themselves these questions. Who are the apples and oranges? If Barrister Ejimakor really meant that there is absolutely no difference in followership, who are those that call themselves disciples that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu had alluded to in the sit-at-home termination order? And why would Mazi Nnamdi Kanu issued order to Simon Ekpa if he considers Simon as someone that is not under his command and control? In the said DOS press release, Emma Powerful made a Freudian slip when he unwittingly stated that the first paragraph that while we agree that some misguided supporters of Simon Ekpa are followers of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, being under the illusion that Simon is working for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, this statement by Emma Powerful is exactly another way of paraphrasing or interpreting the import or real meaning of what Barrister Ejimakor has said on the question of followership. So, what is the beef with DOS, if not jealousy, envy, and all manner of twisted tendencies? And I ask, what are they being jealousy and envy about? Is Aloysius Ejimakor making millions on naira or dollars in representing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? There's something hidden that you people are not telling us. But when time is right, we will all know. It is pertinent to state that since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu returned the legal services of Barrister Ejimakor in late 2017, it has been a season of landmark victories single-handedly won by him. The first was in the March of 2018 before a continental tribunal which reversed the prosecution of IPOB and its listening and terrorist group. The second was in January of 2022, which is related Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from jumping bail and awarded him 1 billion naira and an order for the published apology. The third was in October of 2022 that declared Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's rendition and detention unconstitutional. The fourth was also on October 2022, where the appeal court discharged Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and mainly on the extraordinary rendition argument that the whole world knows was pioneered and written by Barrister Ejimakor alone. And the fifth is the United Nations opinion in which Barrister Ejimakor actively worked with Attorney Bruce Fein in providing legal and other assistance that proved crucial in winning the case. In addition to these victories, Barrister Aloysius Ejimakor is also directly and single-handedly handling other complex briefs, including the one before the British High Commission and the African Union, and he is the only counsel appointed by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to liaise with lawyers and others handling Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB cases in America, in the UK, in Kenya, and in the United Nations. There are also 4 major cases that are still pending that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu personally assigned to him to handle alone for the IPOB. So the DOS should be asked this question: if you claim that you have sacked Barrister Ejimakor, have you appointed another special counsel to take his place and handle these tough cases and assignment currently under his belt? Or is it that your sinister intention is to dredge up a phantom sack as a means of complicating the ability of Barrister Ejimakor to win the cases he is currently doing for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the real royal IPOB rank and file? In conclusion, it needs to be made clear that in all these cases handled by Barrister Ejimakor, the IPOB or a member of IPOB and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu are the only parties, and where IPOB is not a party. It is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that is the party, and it is only because He is the supreme leader of IPOB. So in that sense, it is still an IPOB case with Barrister Ejimakor as his vanguard. Therefore, this DOS sacking of Barrister Ejimakor even so laughable and ineffectual. It's a clumsy attempt by DOS at biting his nose to spite his face. In other words, it is a senseless attempt at self-immolation of the real IPOB, and we will not allow it to happen. This message is coming from the camp or the office of Canon Takano, immediate younger brother to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is being held illegally at the detention of the custody of DSS, that is the Department of State Service. Sit at home enforcers have killed over 250 people on Ezendi Beribe alleges. The Igbo Social Cultural Organization on Ezendori has claimed that over 200 people have been killed since 2021 during the enforcement of sit-at-home order. Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, the President General of APES Igbo Social Cultural Group, reviewed this while speaking on the impact of the action on the Southeast residents on Tuesday. In a statement, Iwanyanwu noted that the illegal order has subjected the Igbos to untold hardship and loss of lives and properties. The Southeast is known for micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises, indigenous manufacturing, fabrication, and agro-allied industries. To this end, several authorities have put the losses encountered by the people at trillions of naira on each sit-at-home day. The region has witnessed the loss of clients and customers who have found alternatives because of the unstable business environment in the Southeast. The food transporters to the Southeast now charge more so insecurity and the menace of unknown gunmen are worsened, he said. He added, worse still, over 250 people are estimated to have been killed through the enforcement of these orders. Breastfeeding reduces risk of breast cancer, maternal obesity. This one is coming from an expert, and it's go to all the mothers in the house, including the fathers. Dr. Babagana Machina, Executive Secretary, Yobe Primary School Care Board, says breastfeeding reduces the risk of breast cancer and maternal obesity. Machina stated this in a Potiskum on Wednesday at the inauguration of the 2023 World Breastfeeding Week. According to him, 6 months of exclusive breastfeeding minimizes childhood infections and increases the intelligence of babies. He noted that breast milk is a unique nutritional resource that cannot be replaced by any other food, including well-formulated infant formula. Machina therefore called on critical stakeholders to assist in promoting exclusive breastfeeding for the healthy development of babies in the society. In his remarks, Alhaji Abdullahi Jawa, Permanent Secretary of the State Ministry of Health, said the week-long event had the theme Enable Breastfeeding, making a difference for working parents. He expressed optimism that the event will foster the adoption of exclusive breastfeeding among nursing mothers. Jawa also said that Governor May Malabuni has recently approved the expansion of free maternal, neonatal, and child health service to cover all pregnant women and under 5 children. The permanent secretary said the approval was part of efforts to reduce maternal mortality and morbidity in the state. The news agency of Nigeria, NAN, reports that highlights of the occasion included presentation of gifts to 11 women who exclusively breastfeeded their babies for 6 good months. Bajabiamila Dele Alake shouldn't have negotiated with NLC. Shehu Sani identifies Agbado's mistakes. Former Kaduna Central Senator Shehu Sani has identified some mistakes the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's late federal government administration made in the negotiation process with the Nigerian Labour Congress over the ongoing strike. Sani said it was wrong to delegate Tinubu's chief of staff, Femi Gbagabia-Mila, and his spokesman, Dele Alake, to negotiate with the representatives of the NLC. He noted that Tinubu and his team should have drawn out a roadmap to cushion the effect of subsidy removal before his swearing in on May 29. They don't have anything in the table, so how can they do that? That is the problem. They don't have anything in stock. They have to continue the legacy that the Muhammadu Buhari left. That is what he told us, that Muhammadu Buhari had done well. And he come now and mess up the whole, a little one that they are managing under that so-called Buhari. He messed everything up. Fuel increment under the space of 2 months. Under the space of 2 months in office. You cause hardship on the whole Nigerians. Only the politicians is the one that is laughing. Nobody. Every rich man that is in business sector now, nobody is smiling. Everybody have to be frowning day and night. Speaking on Arise Television's program, Morning Show, Sani said, this government has done what other governments have not been able to do, which is the removal of fuel subsidy, and the government have come to terms for the first time that subsidy has to go. But the problem is in the area of implementing palliative measures and actions needed to be taken to alleviate the consequences of the so-called removal of fuel subsidy. There were negotiations between the government and Labour, but the fact that the government is just coming to office and you can't pinpoint a minister that will be held responsible like under Buhari's regime when we had Ngige. But now the government is still at its infant stage and there is no specific person to drive in the process. After the first increment of petrol, there were negotiations, but you can't specify areas of agreement because the government is still in the process of forming itself. When Labour said they were unattended to at the villa, Labour has made a genuine effort, but there has to be somebody to pinpoint. You can't put the chief of staff or the spokesperson of the government to negotiate. You need a ministry and a minister who is absent. I think it can still be serviced, which is this protest. And second, is shutting down service nationwide, which I have not seen. The mistake the government made was that the period it took before the swearing in and having known there will be no subsidy, they would have drawn up a roadmap in tackling the consequences of fuel subsidy removal. Everything was done like an afterthought. Tight security as Labour holds peaceful protests in Aba. The Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress hit the streets of Umuahia, the Abia State capital, on Wednesday to protest the hike in petrol prices amid tight security. The protest directed by the National Secretariat of the Nigerian Labour Congress was also against the increase in school fees in federal government-owned schools and the general economic hardship in the nation. The Umuahia protest, which was generally peaceful, commenced at Okpara Square Event Center and was attended by thousands of workers drawn from different units that make up the NLC and the TUC. The city was under tight security as men of the Nigerian Army patrolled some major areas of the town, including Market Road, Bank Road, Government House, Aba Road, and the Government House Gate. Also, men of the Department of State Service, DSS, and Nigeria Police Force were in their vehicles monitoring the exercise to ensure the protest did not turn violent. Abia State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Ken Onwu Emelie, arrived at the Okpara Square at 9:30 and addressed some members of the NLC to be civil throughout their protest. Banks, government offices, and some shops complied with the NLC directive as they remained locked in solidarity. There was a traffic gridlock around the city even as bank customers were disappointed. Addressing the press during the protest, the NLC chairman in Abia, Comrade Pascal Nweke, and the Trade Union Congress chairman, Comrade Ihechi Eno-Ogwe, condemned the harsh economic policies of the federal government, which they said is taking away the bread from Nigerians' workers and artisans. The labor leaders faulted the president Tinubu-led federal government for removing the fuel subsidy without considering the plight of the workers and the entire masses in Nigeria. They regretted that various dialogues they held with the government on resolving the fuel subsidy crisis had not yielded any results. The protesting NLC members complied or complained that whatever they receive as salaries have been wiped away by economic inflations. Also speaking, the national president of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Professor Osedeke of the Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Umudike, said it was a shame that no oil refinery is functioning in Nigeria despite being an oil-producing country. Corruption will never allow that to happen. Also addressing the workers in front of the Abia State Government House, Governor Alex Oti, represented by his staff or chief of staff, Caleb Ajaba, said the protest was not staged against the Abia State government but against the fuel subsidy removal by the federal government. He, however, commended the protesters for being peaceful in their demands, saying that the government or the state government shares the worries of Nigerian workers. He noted that he paid the July salaries of workers in the state in consideration that a worker deserves his pay on the payday. Arise TV presenter Rufai Hosseini and Rotos clash on national TV, or they clashed on air, according to the English they use here. Arise TV presenter Rufai Hosseini and Aroture Rotus Odere on Wednesday clashed on air while debating on labor unions' demands. Recall the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress commenced its planned nationwide protest for August 2 today across the Federation, 36 states, and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, against the federal government's anti-poor policies. The union demanded that federal government fix local refineries and reverse all anti-poor policies, including the increase in fuel price. Speaking about the protest, Odere argued that the labor demands were incoherent. According to him, you cannot ask for refineries to be fixed and also ask for subsidy. He also said labor unions need to have economists on their team to enlighten them about the way economy works and the proper demands they should be making. Hosseini, on the other hand, stood in labor's defense, saying the government has not fixed the refineries yet, claimed that fixing the refineries will not bring down the price of fuel. Hosseini said there is a provision in law which, in order to guarantee energy security, allows fuel to be bought in naira by marketers. At this point, all the cut in, but at what exchange rate? Hosseini refused to answer, noting that Odere was ambushing him. Another presenter and former presidential spokesperson, Reuben Abati, intervened and called for order. I am not happy about your conduct. You are ambushing me. If you interrupt me again, I will stop, Hosseini said. Odere maintained silence afterwards, and when it was time for him to speak, Hosseini too interrupted. The duo also clashed on air over labor demands back in May. While I know the finish, anyway, let's continue. The last but not the least, breaking, no kobo have been saved. Nigerian Labour Congress counters Tinubu's 1 trillion naira claim on fuel subsidy removal. Which day did they save 1 trillion save? Let me ask. Which day you just enter office? Fuel subsidy ended on July 31st. So how do you manage to save 1 trillion? Because fuel subsidy for month of June have already been paid, but you call it off on June, on May 29 precisely. That means the money for the month of June, where do you keep it? Or is it part of the one you saved? We don't know. The Nigerian Labour Congress has rubbished the claims by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that 1 trillion naira has been saved from his government, ended the era of fuel subsidy payment. Nigerian News report that President Tinubu, during his nationwide broadcast on Monday, declared that not less than 1 trillion naira have been saved since the removal of fuel subsidy. Go where the money now, and I don't share them. In a little over 2 months, we have saved over 1 trillion naira that will have been squandered on the unproductive fuel subsidy, which only benefited smugglers and fraudsters. That money will now be used more directly and more beneficially for you and your families, the Nigerian leader had said. However, while speaking during the ongoing nationwide protest of organized labor, President Comrade Joe Ajaero said no dime had been saved from the latest policy as claimed by the Nigerian leader. Ajaero, who could lead the protesters to the National Assembly complex in Abuja alongside his counterpart from the Trade Union Congress, Festus Osifo, said, Mr. President talked about 1 trillion naira saved. The committee, when we meet, told us that no one kobo has been saved so far. Therefore, we have not agreed on what to pay anywhere. Anyway, now so we take CMO. In fact, now here we go take back break. They're gonna wait for another bombshell, another blockbuster that I will drop here later. Until I come your way again, I still remain Okute Daily Talk. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel, like, share, comment. More especially, of them all. Make sure you share this message. Everyone need to get to know about it. Have a nice day, and may the good Lord prosper us, bless us in this new month, that we must surely enjoy the dividend of democracy in our lifetime, not when we are dead. You get the point now, eh? So have a nice day and have a nice time. Tributes are for the trade union and the NLC for their courage to stand up for the masses, despite the fact I know that a very small time now they will call them and give them Ghana must goes and everything becomes a history. But at least they have already spoken and the world have heard their voice. Until I come your way again, I still remain Okute Daily Talk. Bye bye for now. Kemesiano.